Hello everybody and welcome. I appreciate you joining me today. If you are watching this during the recording portion, if you have any questions, feel free to just come to my Facebook page and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have about the things that I'm going to present to you today. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Alanna Wilcox, and I am a teacher, a spinner, a dyer, a mentor, all of these different, titles and hats that I wear. But what I'm coming to talk to you about today are some of the offerings that I have for both spinners, for dyers, for fiber artists. So I put together a little presentation for you, and Marjorie is going to be in the chat if you have any questions in the comments during the live. So she's going to be helping me out. So thank you, Marjorie. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go switch over now to my PowerPoint. So over here, there we go. And then if I happen to go over for the 30 minutes, I will still be live on my page. So I will go and answer any of the questions that I see on my Facebook page. Okay, so let me just make sure that this is all up. All right, so you should be able to see now my face and my PowerPoint presentation. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you today are some of the offerings that I have, both things that you can access right now, like workshops and books. But the thing that I am so excited to share with you today is this course that I've been putting together on dyeing. I've been writing a book for it. So I can't wait to share it with you. Okay, so let's just get started. Okay, so as far as the products or the things that I offer for spinners and dyers, I'm going to be covering these products with you today. So I have a book for spinners that's called A New Spin on Color, so I'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, I offer workshops both in person, online, so I have a range of workshops that I'm going to share with you. And then I also am going to be talking about what I call my precision color matching system. So there's just a ton of information about it, both for dyers and for spinners and felters and fiber artists. So I'm, again, really excited and I can't wait to get to that part to share that with you. And part of that is these color matching formulas that I have. So I will go into details about that and explain how you can use those in your practice. And I also have the course that I was telling you about. So the course is going to be called Color Alchemy Masterclass, and it's going to teach you how to match colors with dye and carded fiber. So it's both for dyers and for spinners, but I'm super excited. So I can't wait to get to that slide part. Okay, so the first thing that I have to offer you is this book that I wrote that's called A New Spin on Color. And so over here, this is the cover. There you go. And basically what is inside of it is my in-depth study for when I went to go become a master spinner. And I had to do this coursework where I had to explore basically a question or a topic. And so what I did was I tried to figure out, because I know sometimes in places like in the Wool and Fiber Arts group, spinners will always ask the question, I have this dyed braid, it's gorgeous, I don't know how to spin it, I don't want to get mud, or what are the ways that I can spin it to really make the colors stand out? So I wrote this book, I explored all of these different ways, so over 20 different ways of how you can approach working with dye top. Okay, hang on 1 second. It didn't save the page that I put up. Anyway, all right. So basically I just go through and I show all of these different ways that you can approach spinning, and I have different examples, I have swatches, I have projects that you can see, and you can ask people, because I know people in the group have purchased the book, what their experiences are like with it, and even to see some of the yarns that they spun after reading it. So it's something that I wrote because I felt like it was really frustrating as a beginner spinner, not really knowing what the wool was going to look like or the braid was going to look like after I spun it. So that's one of the things that I have available. And this book is available on my website, and that is alannawilcox.com. So you can buy it both in a PDF, an EPUB, as well as a print book. Okay, so the next offering that I have on my workshop for you, or on my website for you, are my recorded workshops. So these are workshops that I've either taught in the Zoom format, so they were recorded online but they were live, or I pre-recorded the content and then put them up on my website. So I'm just going to share a couple of them with you, but I do have workshops for both beginner spinners, intermediate spinners, advanced spinners, as well as dyers. So some of the more popular workshops, like this one for dyers, is my creating a digital dyeing notebook. And so what this workshop really serves to help you with is to get a little bit more organized with your record keeping, right? So as a dyer, you might mix colors together and you love how it comes out, and then years later you go back and you want to recreate it, but you just don't know how to. So I created this template for you that you can just go in right away, plug in all of your dye recipes, and you don't have to search your house for notebooks or things like that. It's all in one place and it's all set up for you. You just have to go ahead and plug your information in. So it's in a digital format, so you can access it on your phone. It's set up in Google Sheets, so it's really easy to use. And I've also included some math calculations and formulas so that you can just, like I said, plug in numbers, and I have the formulas already built into the spreadsheet. But if you need more help with getting the notebook a little bit more customized to your needs, I'm always happy to help people with that part. But I think for both myself as a dyer, when I was going through figuring out my color matching system, having this notebook was a huge time saver. It also helped when I was making tweaks to my formulas. So if I wanted to change things and adjust things, I could keep track of the history of what I did without losing my notes and figuring out where, information was stored. So this is a great workshop for anyone that is a dyer and really wants to keep good notes and records. Okay, so the other workshops that I have, these ones are for spinners. So this one is called Back to Basics, Spinning Tips and Tricks. And it's 2 hours, it's actually more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours of content of me basically just going through all of the different spinning tips and tricks that I've come across as a spinner. So I go into my tips and tricks on how to prepare fiber, the different tools and ways to approach using them, spinning techniques, plying techniques. So I pretty much cover the whole gamut from the before you start spinning to the while you spin, ply, and then also the end part too, like how do you finish it, thinking about project pairings with your yarn. So this is a great workshop both for beginner spinners that might be looking to be a little bit more efficient or make sure that they're getting the most out of their spinning time, as well as for even intermediate or advanced spinners, because I cover things that you might not have known about or been frustrated by. And so I pretty much give you all my tips and tricks in this one workshop. Then for my more intermediate spinners or like an advanced spinner, once you get the hang of spinning, you might want to improve your consistency. So this is a really great workshop for those of you that are comfortable spinning a continuous yarn, but you want to get more consistent. So I talk about all of the different places where you can improve your consistency and how to do it. So when you're doing your drafting, how to look at how much twist is going into the yarn, and not only in the individual day when you're spinning it, like in that moment, but also how can you be consistent throughout a project. So if you're spinning for something like a sweater, you don't want your yarn to be inconsistent that's on the sleeve portion compared to the body portion. So I cover all of the facets of consistency and helping you to get more consistent with your spinning. And then one of the more, I wouldn't say like advanced ones, but one of the more in-depth ones specifically is my Spinning for Socks workshop. And so in this workshop, I go into great detail about all of the different things that you would need to know as a sock spinner. So I talk about all of the different fibers that you might be using as a spinner, how to achieve the qualities that you may want in a pair of socks. So what does your spinning and preparation and all of that have to do with making a warm sock or a durable sock? And all of that is basically addressed in this workshop. I also talk about how can you copy a commercial sock yarn, because when I first started spinning, I wasn't actually a knitter. And so I knew that one could make socks with their hand spun, but because I didn't know that there were different things like sock weight yarn and patterns and all of that, I made these socks that basically felt like I was wearing oven mitts on my feet. You know, they were very like stiff and just not very comfortable. So once I got better at spinning, I began to understand, oh, okay, there's actually yarn that people that make socks use that's a sock weight yarn and all the characteristics. So after analyzing all of that, I've poured it into this workshop to help you, in addition to talking about why you may want to use more than a 2-ply yarn for a pair of socks. So those are just 3 of the workshops that I have, but altogether I believe there's about 14 different spinning workshops on my website covering things from twist and grist, plying and drafting methods. I have ones on just, you know, how to, like I said, how to approach a project, so calculating enough fiber and yarn for a project. I have ones on beginning basics plying techniques as well as advanced plying techniques. So I pretty much cover the gamut. And each year I'm developing more spinning workshops that are going to be recorded. So for this year, for example, I'm going to be doing one later this year on spinning for drape. And I'm also going to be doing one on how to approach spinning for a gradient yarn. So stay tuned for those. I'll have those posted on my website as well. And if you would like to get any information about my upcoming workshops that are both online or in person, you can sign up for my newsletter on my website at alannawilcox.com. So just to announce, these are the workshops that I have scheduled for this year. So some of them I don't know 100% sure what I'm going to be teaching, but at least I know the venues that I'm going to be teaching at. So I just wanted to share those with you. I'm going to be at the H&H America show, so that's going to be in Chicago in June, and that's geared more towards yarn shop owners and people that are in the industry, so it's more of like a trade show, but I will be teaching and doing lectures there, and like I said, that will be in June. I'm going to also be going to Convergence, so this is my first time. This is through the Handweavers Guild of America, so I've never been to this event, so if you're there but you're not taking my workshop, please come and say hi to me. I would love to see you in person and meet you and get to know other spinners. So I'm going to be teaching my Plying Beyond the Basics workshop, so it's going to be a more advanced plying workshop, and then in July from the 19th to the 20th, it's going to be a 2-day one. I'm going to be covering 12 ways that you can approach spinning dye top for different color outcomes, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into the color with that one, so I'm super excited about that. I'm also going to be teaching at Rhinebeck this year, so if you are going to be attending, I would again love to see you. If you catch me running in between classes to go grab lunch, definitely say hello to me. But I'm going to be focusing on workshops on consistency, color, and explaining what exactly is the term grist. So I'm looking forward to those. And then the last one in person for the year is going to be at the Gathering. So that's for the Northeast Hand Spinners Association, and that's going to be in November, but I'm just not 100% sure yet which workshops I'm going to be covering for that. So if you're attending any of those shows in person, I will be teaching workshops there. Okay, so next up, this is the one, like I said, that I'm really excited to talk to you about today, because I haven't really talked about it a lot. Usually I talk more about spinning, but this is more about for my dyers out there, okay? But it is applicable to spinners too. So what I've been working on for the better part of, I would say, the last 13 years or so, is this color matching system. And so what that means is that I've created these formulas where you can tell me what color you want, and I can tell you what specific dyes you're going to need and in what quantities you're going to need them in order to match that color. So over here, I have an example of a color formula that you would get from me. And as you can see, I have different brands of dyes. So I have like a green dye, a yellow dye, an orange dye, and a turquoise dye. And then it's broken down into percentages. And if you can't see the screen clearly because of the device that you're looking at this on, I have this on my website as well. So you can go and check it out there. And so what you're looking at is basically, I've come up with a way that you can input or tell me, because if you buy a single formula, you'll get it as a PDF. But if you purchase 5 or more dye formulas, then I also have a calculator and a library that I can create for you where it automatically calculates everything as far as like the liquid that you need. If you're using stock solutions or the powder that you need. But basically what you do is you just decide, how much fiber do you want to dye, right? So in this instance, in this formula, it was 100 grams of wool. And then it breaks down how much of each dye you would need. So if you're someone that likes to just use dye powder, I have the formula calibrated for that. If you're someone that likes to use 2% depth of shade solutions, right, I can help you with that part too. So all of that is there in the formula, and you just kind of jump right in, and I tell you exactly what brands you need and how much. So just so you can see what that looks like, right, as far as the process goes, like I said, the first step is picking a color. So if you're using photographs as a reference, like over here I have the picture of this building. So I was trying to match the color that was in that roof, right? So I selected a color from there. And if you're not tech savvy and you don't know how to do it, that's totally fine. You can just send me the picture and say, Alanna, I want to match the color of the roof. And I'll be like, okay, got you. I'll give you a couple of options of colors and you can pick the one that you like too. So if using photo editing software isn't your thing, that's totally fine. I can help you with getting your color selected first, right? But you're going to select a color, then you would go and purchase a formula from me, and then you're going to basically get all that information, and you're going to be able to get results like this where the color of the yarn can now match the color of the building that I was trying to match. So over here, these are some more results from people that have used my formulas and results that I've achieved in using the formulas. So as you can see, right, there are all different colors that you can match, and you just tell me what you want and I got you. Okay, so it's going to save you so much time from doing trial and error testing. Like if you are trying to get a khaki color green, for example, you might know that yellow and blue make green, but you may not know if you need red or brown or black or what you need to push that grass color green to go more towards khaki. And so my color formulas can really help you with that. Now, this is what's really awesome about them. Not only is it applicable to dyers, right? So if you're a dyer, like this is a great service to have. But if you are a spinner or a felter and you are trying to match a color for whatever project you're working on, I can then show you, and I'm going to do it in a minute, but I can show you how you basically take the numbers, right, that are in the formula, and then you apply them to the weight of the fiber that's been commercially dyed. So you don't even have to do any dyeing. If you want to, you totally can. But if you're someone that's not into dyeing, but you really, are fascinated by color and you're trying to match a color, then these formulas are for you as well. So over here, you can see I took the picture of the wools. They were measured and weighed based on the formula, and how by carding them, I was able to get them to match the paper that I was using as my color reference. Okay, so I'm going to kind of break it down step by step, because in the Wool and Fiber Arts group, I had put up the palette of the month picture, and I had asked people, because I pulled some of the colors from the picture, and I had asked people to vote on and tell me what color from the palette would you like me to try to apply and match with my system, right? So again, the first step was you have to pick your color. So people picked the color on the bottom. Then the second step, so I'll go back so you can see, right, was that you want to weigh the fiber in the percentages that are in the formula. So over here, on this next slide here, you can see I have the formula, and it's broken down in the percentages. So I'll get into that, but basically I weighed all of the colors that I used, and then all the colors that I used were on the bottom left, and then the result is on the bottom right. So I was able to match that purple color that was up in the sky just by using my formulas. So over here, what's really interesting, right, is that if you were to just, like I said, start off with, blue and yellow to make green, you might get a different kind of green. So the colors that went into this formula, as you can see on the bottom left, those are all the colors. There was blue, turquoise, there was this kind of plum color, there was purple, there was a magenta color. And if I were to just look at my screen, right, and I was trying to match those colors on my screen, I got the color on the right. Okay, so it can be very difficult and challenging when you're looking at a computer screen to actually get the colors to look right, because the colors on the screen are very different than the way dyes work. And so in this book that I wrote and in this course that I'm teaching, I'm going to explain how you can understand and anticipate what happens from a screen versus what happens with dye, because there's something that happens, in between, right, that it makes it very difficult to get these matches. So if you were to just, kind of use the colors that you saw, you might get the color on the right, which is not to say that it's a bad color, but it's not quite that match that we're looking for. So when you're looking at that area of the screen that has all of those little color squares, basically what I've created is a color calibration sheet. And so what that means is that if you have dye or if you have fiber and you can match those colors as your quote unquote primary, so the colors you're starting with, right? So if you're, again, making blue and yellow to make green, if you start off with the blue that looks like mine and a green that looks like mine, and then you follow the formula, then you're going to get that color match. And so because I was going through, and I'll show you what colors I was using. So I started off with Ashford. They have different dyed Corriedale wool. So I started off with these colors. So I started off with blue, turquoise, and then there was purple, and then this pansy color. Now, the thing that I couldn't really quite get was the blue, right, that I had from Ashford was different than the blue that was going into my formula. So you can see this little blue square, how I was experimenting to see what was the blend that was going to give me the closest blue to my calibration sheet. And once I nailed it, which was the one on top, then I was able to nail that color. So I really have it all spelled out for you, what you need to do to be able to get results like this. And all of this information is what I'm going to be teaching people in my course that I'm developing. Okay, so I'm going to get into that in a bit, but I just wanted to share with you how the formulas are both applicable to spinners as well as dyers, and the formulas are available for purchase now on my website at alannawilcox.com. But the course that I'm going to be putting together is this new course, right? It's like this has never existed before, and it's going to be called the Color Alchemy Masterclass. And so color alchemy to me is the act of taking a digital color and then understanding and knowing what the process is to then basically transform that digital color into a color that we experience and can see in the real life world, whether it's with dye on yarn or carded fiber. Okay, and so I'm putting together this course, and because it's going to be new, it's not like a workshop. This is going to be a course, so it's going to be very different. And I'm going to be looking for beta testers or people to help me out with the first run of the course. Okay, so I kind of broke down a little bit of the who, what, where, when, why to go into it so that you can really know if this is something that might be good for you, or maybe someone you know might be interested in taking it. So the who is it for part, right? These are the people that I think that are gonna get the most benefit out of it. So if you are an indie dyer, but you might be someone that struggles when you're trying to match a color, or it takes you a really long time. So you might have a customer that comes to you and says, oh, can you match this purple or whatever? And you have purple dye, but you're not sure, again, what you need to do to get the dye to be the color that the customer wants, or that it's going to take you so much time to get there that you're going to waste materials and dye. So with my system and this course, I'm going to teach you how to get there super quick. It's also, like I said, geared towards spinners and felters. So if you're looking to match color by doing these blends, then I'm going to help you with that as well. And also you might be someone that really loves dyeing. So I would refer to you maybe as like an advanced hobby dyer or a fiber artist who does most of the dyeing for yourself, right? Like for the yarn and the fiber that you use, but maybe you're transitioning or thinking about becoming an indie dyer and actually selling the things that you dye. So I'm going to really help you understand how to work with color so that you can get the results you want, and also to think about how your yarn and your fiber, when it's either knitted up or spun up, how it's going to look in its final state, right? Because I think some of us might love the color of the way fiber is dyed or yarn is dyed, but then when we go to knit it up or spin it, we're really not happy with the results. So I'm going to really talk about how can we predict what the end result is first so that we can make better choices in the beginning. And then lastly, for people that might be in dyeing related fields, so if you're a costumer and you work in a theater, or if you're a textile conservationist and you're looking to try to match a color, quickly and easily, this is going to be the course for you. So what exactly is this course going to include? Okay, so at the moment, again, I'm going to be working this out with my beta testers. I'm envisioning that it's going to be about 3 to 4 live sessions. So we will meet as a group together about 4 times that are live, but there's going to also be times when you're going to be working on your own. It's going to include my book that I've written on my process. So basically the book is like the underpinnings of my color matching system. It's got tons of color theory information as it relates to both dyeing and color blending. So even though I'm speaking in terms of dyeing with regards to color mixing, it's totally applicable to what you might be doing as a spinner or a carder or a felter, like someone that's preparing the fiber before it gets turned into something else, whether it's yarn or fabric. I'm going to also go into great detail in the course as well as in the book about how you can use images for color palette creation and how you can get the most out of that experience. And then also talking too about what if you don't use the dyes that I use, how can you figure out, just like how I showed you with the blue carded fiber, how can you figure out what you need to do to get your primary colors to match mine so that you can also get the same results as me. So that's going to be part of the course. I'm going to also offer up people that are in it. I think at this point, I'm thinking it's going to be roughly about 50 different dye formulas. So I have over 2,000 dye formulas. So I'm going to be giving the participants about 50, and they're going to be getting the library. They're going to be getting the calculator for calculating all of the different colors for different weights of good of fiber that you want to dye. So it's going to be really a comprehensive course. I'm going to also be going over troubleshooting. So if you have any issues with dye application methods, talking about creative ways to apply the dye again to get the results you want. So it's going to all be, in this course. And there's going to also be a kit as well. So in the kit, I'm going to include all of the dyes that I use so you can test them out and see if you like them first. I'm also going to have auxiliaries that you might need to help with getting level, even colors. It's going to be a comprehensive kit, and it's going to be optional too for those people that already have some of the ingredients or components in the kit, but I want to make sure that everybody's kind of starting off on the same playing field. So we all have the same fiber, we have the same yarn, so that when you go to do a color, you'll be confident that you're going to get the same results as me. And then when you try to use other dyes or other fibers, you can see how those variations might look and what changes you can do to get them to look like mine with the dyes and the fibers that I'm suggesting to use. Okay, so where is this course going to be held? Well, it's going to be online. So it's going to either be via Zoom or some other platform. I'm going to look into things like Discord and Facebook and stuff like that. But this is why I need my beta testers. So I want to know what platforms do people want to have a course like this set up on so that it's really easy to access and, making it super simple. So I know a lot of people are familiar with Zoom, so we might go that approach. But again, this is why I need my beta testers to give me that feedback. And all of the content for it is going to be available again on my website. So that's alannawilcox.com. So as far as the when, okay, this is kind of my rough timeline. Basically, the book is in the final stages of production, and I'm anticipating that it's going to be going off to the printers in April, okay, at the beginning of April. And so I will let the beta testers know. So on the live, right, in the description, I have all of the links for everything that I'm talking about. And so I have the link for the form for you to sign up if you are interested in the course. If you're interested in being a beta tester, please go ahead and fill that form out. The link is there. And I'm going to let all the beta testers know once the book is done, because I want the beta testers to have the physical book in their hands before the course starts so that they can read it and generate whatever questions they have for me to make sure that this course is really going to be participant driven. So as a teacher, I know what I know, right? But I don't know what my students don't know. And so I really want people's questions about the whole process to be something that I can address in the course. And so for each round that the course runs, I really want to make it, tailored to the participants that are in it. So my beta testers are really going to help me with generating the bulk of the content that students want to know about my method after reading the book. So I want to make sure the book is printed for you to have in your hands. You'll be the first people to know about it and what's in it if you are on my beta testing team. Okay, so I'm going to let people know about the book. I'm hopefully going to set the schedules up and have the beta testing schedule set for May. And then between June and July, I would like to run the beta test. And I do want to keep the group small so that it can be an intimate setting, and also that I can really try to tweak and change what the beta testers are suggesting to me, so that if I do need to make, changes and modifications, then potentially running a second beta testing group to see if those improvements and changes are making it a better experience for the next round. So why would you want to potentially be a beta tester? Well, again, you're going to be one of the first people to get access to my book on my methods and my dyeing notes and thoughts, as well as the contents of the course. Okay, so you're going to be the first ones in line. You're going to also help me create this really rich content for this course. So I want this course to be something that's different than yellow plus blue makes green, right? We can all open up craft books and get that. We can all go on YouTube and get that. What I'm teaching you is something, again, that goes beyond that, but it's understanding the concept of color theory and how it really applies to dyeing, to working with fiber, and how you can get really amazing results, especially you want to get the results that you have in your head as opposed to trying to match what someone else did, right? So I'm going to be covering that, and as a beta tester, you're going to also be helping me out in making sure that participants get the best experience possible. And because this is just the way that I roll as a fiber artist, I really love working in environments where there's collaboration, where there's a sense of community, and where we can cross-promote each other. So if you are an indie dyer, I want to be able to promote your yarns, right? So if you take my dye course, I want to be able to share with people and say, hey, check out this amazing dyer because, you know, they did all of these beautiful colors. So I'm really looking at this as a team effort, a team approach, where if you're willing to help me out in the beta testing phase, I really want to help promote your line of fiber and dyed yarns, because I don't actually sell fiber and yarn, and therefore we're not necessarily in competition, right? So I want to boost you up. I want to empower you. I want to make you walk away from this course feeling really confident and also really supported. So that's kind of what I would want you to leave from the course. So as a beta tester, that's something that you would be able to get from it. And also, once people are done going through the course, I want to be able to establish a group or some type of membership where we can come together as dyers and share things like best practices, different application methods, and also, again, that community piece where we can network with one another and, you know, help rise a tide for all of us. So for signing up, again, up on top in the description, I have the sign up form. So basically you would just go and fill that out. And if you know anyone that is, you know, excited about color and loves dyeing or loves the idea of blending colors together, I would really appreciate it if you could share the link to that form with them. Also, if you belong to a guild, so let's say you belong to like a Weavers Guild or a Spinners Guild, sharing information with them about it would be very much appreciated. And I would even, which I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks too, but to do a demonstration or a lecture on color for your guild. So I do workshops and lectures and demonstrations for guilds virtually. I also do workshops, demonstrations, and lectures in person. So if your guild is doing a color study or they're really fascinated with anything that I'm talking about, or you think they would be fascinated with it, I would be happy to talk to you more about that. Okay, and also anyone is welcome to sign up. So if you are a beginner dyer or you are an indie dyer, I really want to get input from someone that maybe is just starting out, because there's still a lot of benefit to have from knowing the knowledge about what I'm going to share, even if you don't necessarily have a lot of experience. So I'm not going to say to people like, no, don't sign up if you've only dyed one yarn. I really want to try to pick people from different areas of experience so that I can get the best information about the course from the beta testers as possible. Okay, so just in summary here, if you would like to, like I said, have me come to your guild or your dyeing group or spinning group, if you belong to a group of people that are like-minded fiber enthusiasts like yourself, I would love the opportunity to be able to talk to you about that. If you are an indie dyer and you would like help with putting together a color palette, so if you are trying to come up with a line of dyes for a seasonal, line like a spring collection or something like that, I can help you answer questions, troubleshoot all of your dye issues with you. And also I work with individuals too to do lessons and project consultations. So if you're struggling with a spinning project, or if you have a fleece that you really love and you would like someone to just kind of check in with them, hold your hand through the process, answer any questions you have, I'm here for that as well. And so again, you can reach out to me either through this Facebook page, right? Or you can contact me on my website, again, AlannaWilcox.com. So in summation, if you would like to kind of keep up with me and see all of the different places where I'm at, I'm Spinny Buns on Instagram, so you can see all of the pictures and projects that I post. Right now, I have this awesome group, so it's called Spin, Dye, and Create with Alanna Wilcox, and we're working our way through the 100-day project together, and so that's been a really amazing, supportive experience. So it's just a wonderful group where people share the projects that they're working on, and we talk about the creative process and all of the different facets of that. And I really like to have conversations with people, not only about what they're making, but actually to like think about what it is you're making, why you're making it, and to have deeper discussions as far as like artists go, right? Like how are we approaching the fiber crafts and the fiber arts. I also have a ton of videos on YouTube, so the link to my YouTube channel is up on top. All of these like free content for you to check out. If you go into the Wool and Fiber Arts group and you would like to see past demonstrations that I've done, you can just search for the hashtag Alanna Wilcox there, and I went and I tagged all of my past demonstrations. So I have ones on spinning, plying, fiber preparation, all of that good stuff. You can check that out in the group there as well. And again, I would be super appreciative if any of this information you think would resonate with your guild, or if there are people in other forums and spaces that are asking questions about color matching or spinning or anything like that, if you could share my name with them, I would be most grateful. So let me go switch over to my heart-to-heart cam here. Hang on a second. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my Facebook page and I can see if there are any questions. So thank you, Marjorie. Okay, I'm going to go see if there's any questions. Okay. So just give me a second. Okay. Oh, so I didn't talk about price. Forgive me. Okay. So the individual formulas are $14.97. And so, like I said, if you order a single formula, you will get the PDF. And then if you order 5 or more formulas, and it doesn't have to be all at once, but like once you hit that threshold of ordering 5 or more formulas, then I will begin to create a digital library for you. And you'll also have access to the die calculator. So there's that. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just keeping reading the questions to see if there's any more. Thank you for everybody that's leaving sweet comments about my workshops and content. I truly appreciate it. Okay, I'm still scrolling. Okay, so yeah, so for the course, thank you, Janice. Okay, so for the course, at this point, I'm still waiting on pricing out the cost of printing the book and all of the supplies that would be in the kit, but it's going to range anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,500 depending upon how much the course materials are. But you'll also have access to the content. So if you're not able to join me during the live, I'm going to save the recordings. But for the beta testing, I really would like people to be there during the live portion so that I can get their feedback real time. Okay, so thank you so much, Marjorie, for being my helper today. I really appreciate it. And if there's any other questions about any of the other materials that I offer, please feel free to put them in the comments, send me a message. I'm always happy to help answer them. And I look forward to seeing you all both either in my group, so my Spin, Dye, and Create friends. If you are in the Wool and Fiber Arts group, I'm going to be going on tomorrow to do an interview, and I hope that you can be there with me and Annie as we talk about all things fiber tomorrow during the Fiberside chats. I'm going to be continuing with my 100-day project, and I'm going live on my Instagram on Fridays at 9:30, and I might pop in a couple of more times just to hold myself accountable for working on it on my needle felted landscape. Yep, so I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. No? Okay. So thank you everybody so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care.